everybody. Welcome to Coach's Playbook with Paul LaPolice, your home for elite CFL breakdown analysis. We don't do enough defense on here, so let's make sure we get some defensive stuff done. The Ottawa Redblacks really dominated the Toronto Argonauts early. They got out a big lead. A lot of that had to do with the play of their defense. 2 pick sixes been talked about. Damon Webb, he's the 8th player in league history to get 2 pick sixes in one football game. And the last time that happened in the Ottawa organization, the Redblacks weren't even around. It was 1991. So 6 takeaways, 3 interceptions, 3 on downs. That's a recipe to win. But I thought second and long, 5 of 17 for the Argos. The Argos had a ton of yardage, but it was after kind of yards after beatdown. And Kadeem Carey, I thought that was a big key to that game last week. 5 carries, 46 yards. You can't, when you're down big, it's hard to run the football, but I thought every time he tried to run the football, they managed him very well. So let's take a look at the Redblacks defense. And before I go, please subscribe to the page and turn notifications on. It'll help you support the page and help let you see when we're posting stuff. So time for the Ottawa Redblacks defense. Pressure on this first play makes an errant throw on the outside to Ungerer. What happens? So sometimes you do these play actions where you use the receivers in the blocking scheme. You basically tell the O-line, block the run. But there's a little bit other things that go into this. Sindani comes across. I believe that's Polk coming across. Those 2 guys come across. You tell the line, block the run play. Now, in the run play, the line would probably go to this player. These 2 are going to this player, plus the will linebacker who's out of the box already. But the hard part of this is when you send 2 players across the field, you always have to be prepared for the Sam linebacker. Now, the tailback's right there. But when the Sam goes into the front side B gap, that might be hard for the tailback to see. He sees the player coming on the outside. So, Vandal has to, go to the mic, but he also has to have vision what's showing up in the B gap. Worst case scenario, the tailback sees it and takes the Sam linebacker, Pickett in the B gap. But it's just difficult to do. I like this blitz where you bring the Sam into this gap. Now, on the backside, this is not easy. Lorenzo Malden on a receiver. I don't care if it's 1 or 2 receivers. He runs right by them both, so that's why there's a collision at the point of attack, and Chad can't step into this throw. Damon Webb, top of your screen, right here. The physicality is one of his strengths as a football player. The Argos are trying to run a double screen. There's a screen to the left, and there's a screen to the right. Both receivers make a mistake, and sometimes you say, we'll both block and go to the second level. You have to block the first level. He splits them both. Ball's high, picks it up, catches it on the fly and runs it in. Spectacular job by Damon Webb. His physicality is one of the keys. They like to blitz him. Really nice job there for the pick 6. Toronto's got what they want here. They just don't locate the football. They get action with the linebacker stepping up. You get a big open space to throw the ball to. Chad just misses this throw, and that's what turns into the interception by Brandon Dandridge. What's happening here? This is a run-pass option. And basically, anytime you don't block people in the protection, those are run-pass options. He's here, and they're reading Frankie. If Frankie steps up, Frankie Griffin, the will linebacker, if he steps up, you throw behind him. The pattern concept, we have a clear out that may come inside a little bit. Player out in the flat, right there. Come on. And right behind it. So as Frankie steps up, there's a huge space to throw this football. David Unger is wide open. It just goes high. Now the protection's pretty good. Chad just not sure. So this time, once again, I talked about already that the problem of the Sam linebacker in adding to the B gap, he goes ahead and does add to the B gap. Both Polk and the tailback blow him up and give them an opportunity. Just not a great throw by Chad Kelly. Leads to Dandridge, who's pretty spectacular with the ball in his hands. Varying your coverages are what makes quarterbacks hold the football. Chad Kelly can't find anybody, scrambles, and gets sacked. Why? A little different coverage picture right here. Man-to-man, man-to-man. He's going to be a wall player, so he's helping. You see him on the inside just trying to take away an inside throwing lane. You have a safety over the top, but it appears these guys are in man coverage, and with the safety help, you would call that two-man. Over here, this looks like a little bit more zone coverage. So this could be what we call match coverage, where they're passing routes off. But Chet doesn't really have any place to go. He turns to look to throw here. There's Pickett's right underneath it, and that's why the scramble has to happen. So one of the best things that the Redblacks are doing is playing a lot of coverage, and then they can rush with 4 people. And Wakefield does a good job as Chad goes to scramble, jumping out there, and Cleon Lang's right there to make the play. Nice coverage sack. Blitz pressure, 1+ forces this throw that's not located well. Damon Webb picks it up, gets his second pick 6 of the game. Like I said, the first time since 1991 it's happened in Ottawa. The 8th player all time to do this. So this really blows the game away. So the defense is playing a little bit of pressure here. So what are they doing? They're trying to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand. So when the ball snapped, if we count them up the numbers, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players coming. Those 6 players are handled by the 5 offensive linemen in the back. And then there's going to be 1 free that comes. So the quarterback has to throw the ball quickly. As he does, it's mislocated, and Damon Webb's there for the return. So you can see it from this angle. So the offensive line's kind of sorting out how they're going to go, what they're going to handle. So you see right here, when they point over here, when Peter Nicastro points to his right, he's saying, all right, we're going to take the 3 threats over here. And as you can see, he goes to 1, he goes to 2, he goes to 3. He's big on big. He'll take the back. He'll take this one. And now Williams is full speed trying to get to the quarterback. So the quarterback just to throw it quickly, and he doesn't locate it, and Damon Webb does his thing. So pretty spectacular for Damon Webb from Ohio State. I spent some time with him. I really enjoyed him as a professional. He's a great kid, and happy for him to have this success. Lamont, watch him at the top of the screen. The Argos run a lot of wide receiver screens, and Lamont and company they're ready to go for these screens. He beats the block. Tommy Neal creates a huge negative yardage play on 1st and 10. I always say this term, to the receivers, if we're going to run wide receiver screens, you better block, because wide out screens suck if we don't block. And it's very hard if you're not ready. See, like Tommy Neal's running up to the line of scrimmage, ball snapped. He's just not in a position to make a block. Lamont just beats him inside, recovers, makes a negative yardage play. Spectacular to see. There's not much to see from the end zone of this, but you can see just the end result is a big negative yardage play. Chad Kelly's trying to throw the ball to the right here. He gets spooked by something, holds the ball, and you got to be careful when you hold the ball too long. Mike Wakefield, he beats the guard, goes into the center, which is fine. Nicastro sliding to help for the inside. That's where the slide side is. But Nicastro doesn't get his feet underneath him. Wakefield with an outstanding pass rush here. All you're trying to do is move the quarterback off his spot. And if you notice, this is what's called 3-step, so he doesn't change his drop. So the quarterback takes the ball, and he's standing there at 4.5 yards. So you're trying to hold off these defensive linemen, and if you don't, you don't have that extra 3 yards. So just creates a sack opportunity, but a great pass rush by Wakefield in the 3-step pass game. Another sack here by Williams for the Redblacks, using one of their extra defensive backs as a linebacker. I think this is on Chad Kelly. It appears to be a hot protection or an empty protection, because you'll see the tailback, he releases out even though there's Pickett's coming off this edge. But I don't see a really quick throw for the quarterback over to his left. So I guess that's where he has to go with the football. And so what do you mean by that? Like the protection, how the protection's set is how people get handled. And here's something to explain. Even though there's a threat right here, even though Williams is certainly in the box as a threat, the line is all worried about taking throws this way. So when the Sam comes off the edge, that's who they take. If you notice, all those guys slide this way. So in my head, it's probably telling me the quarterback has to take this player by himself because none of the linemen do it. The tailback actually releases it into flat. So this is an empty protection where the line slid to pick it. Well, that would mean the quarterback has to throw off this one. Can't see it. Nice sack by Williams. Once again, the Redblacks pressure package really gets home and creates confusion. Doesn't give the quarterback an opportunity to throw the ball. So they end up sliding all the way to their left. But Taylor's an A-gap rusher coming in this space. So if they decided to slide to all these people, the ball has to come out of the hand. I'm not sure. I don't think Chad thinks that. I think he thinks that Vandal's going to be right here to block that one, and he throws off a Williams. But whatever the Redblacks did protection-wise, they wanted to do some pressures. They were able to get home with these pressure packages to confuse the Argos.